Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm continuing my color along in a live stream in De Welt, Unter Lupe, Lande by Rita Berman, and I'm going to work on the background today and possibly more of the leaves and the acorns and just carry on plodding along on this page. So I'm just going to continue setting up and I will get started as soon as I possibly can. Again, if you hear any background noise, please excuse it. It's just family getting ready for bed. Okay, so what I want to do with this picture is I'm going to do a dark blue because I think the dark blue will complement very nicely here. And I'm going to try NeoColor IIs. I've not tried them before on this paper, so I'm hoping that they are going to work really well. And what I'm going to do is just try to create a bit of like white, very light areas around here, especially around here. So maybe a white kind of like galaxy sort of band around there. Hi Kenny, how are you? Oh, thank you, glad you like it. How was your time away? Right, the other thing I found when I work with Neo 2s, if I pick up the pigment straight off the crayon and apply it, I find that it stays quite pigmented. So I quite like that effect, and I try dab it on. So let's see how we go. Let me see if I can zoom you in a wee bit more. But because it's a double page, it's going to be a little difficult. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed your time away. Makes it all worthwhile. So last week I got a total of, I think, 50 minutes of coloring time the entire week. So so far I only have one completed page to show for October. Oh dear. I just keep telling myself, just keep coloring, don't worry, it's gonna turn out fine. You'll have a bit more than one coloring page done. But it's really just the time of year. It's just a busy time of the year for us. So I just recently bought the Derwent Waterbrushes. I needed new water brushes, so I thought I would try the Derwents and see how they compare to the Pentel. This is going down relatively okay, not too bad. Yeah, a few minutes of coloring is better than none. Although, to be honest, not getting to coloring does actually affect me after a while. It definitely does help manage stress and that whole self-care and self-love kind of stuff. So, how much have you been coloring this month? What have you been coloring? Rita Berman has released her Africa book. I don't know if it's available in the US yet. Yeah, this is the #1 brush that I'm using. I like the thinner tips because I can get into the smaller places relatively well, whereas those bigger, broader brushes, I don't often get a lot of space for it. So, yeah. Hi Yana, how are you? So I really do like using my NeoColors for nighttime skies. Ooh, Kanoko Gusesh, he's great. Which book are you working on? I actually want to get back into some of her pictures again. I haven't colored Kanoko Goose in a while, so it would be quite nice to color it in. Lately I've been coloring Jasmine Beckett Griffith's coloring book. Oh, that's cool, Yana. You've got 10 autumn or Halloween coloring books themed in your stack. That's really cool. Oh, Kanoka's in your top 3. That's cool. Hi, Pickle. How are you? It's always a tricky thing with double page spreads. How far do you zoom in? Especially when you're doing a full background. Yeah, I'm plodding along too. Not getting much coloring done, I'm afraid. But it's just that time of the year, so we just keep going. Eventually it will come right. Your current page is from Nachtschwärmer by Sarah Richter. Oh wow, primarily Halloween theme. So is that her latest book? Because I did see that Sarah Richter has got a new book out. Trying to remember who I saw advertising or showing it. But I can't remember. Sorry, Pickle. I'm sure it will improve for both of us at some point. It's been a bit of an odd September, October, really. It's just everywhere I go, all the people I talk to, They're just finding it very, very busy, very chaotic. I suppose it just depends on what's happening in everybody's lives. That old saying, if it rains, it pours. When it rains, it pours. Oh, okay, you're not sure. You've had that one since last year. I also saw, I think it's Color with Claire. She was saying the coloring book that we all petitioned to be republished is going to be republished. I can't remember the name of the book or the artist. I'd have to quickly see if I can find it. So yeah, so that petition has been approved and people will soon be able to get that book, which is really exciting. So I decided I'm going to make sure that I pre-order it as soon as we can, because with it being quite a exclusive book, I suppose you could say, or limited edition, that's a better way of saying it. So it's Saga and Sagner is getting reprinted. So very exciting news. I'm like, even if I don't color it in, I want to have it in my collection because it's like a collector's piece. Oh, cool. So it will be available from next autumn or winter. That's really cool. Hi, Leslie. How are you? Yeah, exactly. Saga och Sagner, yes. That's the one. They heard our pleas and they're republishing it. Exactly. That's what happens when a community comes together. We make things move. We make things happen. The only thing is when it dries quite faded. I like it bright and bold. It's okay, we can touch it up. sometimes I have to turn my light down because it really gets too bright and it reflects off the paper into my eyes. And then I sometimes feel like I'm going blind because the glare just, it's too much. Oh, Lizzie, sorry, you missed. So Saga och Sagner is being reprinted. Color with Claire announced it a few days ago on Instagram. Apparently it will be available for next winter autumn time. So yeah, it's quite exciting because a whole bunch of coloring people wanted to have the book. I've had my eye on it as well, so I signed the petition and they've heard our requests. So yeah, something to look forward to for next year. Even if I don't color it, I'm going to get myself a copy. I kind of see it as a collector piece. You know, we have two hobbies. There's coloring and there's collecting coloring books. Ooh, if it's going to have new pages, that's cool. That would be nice. Oh wow, 8 new pages. That's very cool. Okay, so let me just think. I want this kind of section here going lighter. So I need to make sure that I ease up my paint. The nice thing with NeoColor IIs is you can just go back over it. Hasn't seeped through, so that's a good sign. I think I'll go over it with white acrylic paint. Hi, Tia. Yes, I have tried Jasmine Beckett-Griffith's book. I've got just one of her books, and I have been coloring it quite a bit this month. But when I say that, I've only got one colored page done this month, and I'm working on 2 whips. So yeah, not a whole lot of progress per se, but then I haven't had a lot of coloring time. I do really enjoy her style, and what I try to do is I actually copy her original paintings, because I like, that's how I learn, is different things, and is to copy, but I'll always give credit. I won't go and say it's my idea when it's not. Exactly. Imagine loving your stuff that someone actually petitions for it. Yeah, that's really cool. Oh yeah, me too. I do hope that they stick to good paper. Oh, I don't have the Alice in Wonderland book. So, which exactly are you stuck when it comes to coloring that page? I'm happy to thrash a few ideas out with you and see if we can come right and help you get a bit unstuck. What pencils are you hoping to use in your Jasmine Beckett-Griffith book? Exactly, yeah. Just enjoy the process of coloring. You can go to should be at the back of the book a QR code. You can use your phone and just open up the camera, scan the QR code, and it should take you to the paintings. And you can see how she's done it. You could always use her colors. If that's not your thing, then you could just get an idea of more or less shading. It just depends how you want to color the page. You just got to make it your page. Yana, I think there is an element of truth to what you're saying about the books becoming more expensive with quality paper, therefore people are less likely to buy them. I think especially when you're starting coloring, people may not be aware of how particular pencils and paper can be. so it might put them off. So I found with Amazon paper, so I started coloring it back in 2020. I picked up the hobby properly this time, and the Amazon paper I colored on then and some of the Amazon paper I'm coloring on now are very different, and apparently different areas print on different Amazon paper, which is why we get a range of quality where some of the Amazon paper is better than other places. And what I've noticed with the Amazon paper actually is more often I won't buy Selena Fenwick's books, for instance, because I don't like that paper, especially the more older books. It's not good paper. I'm reluctant to buy Tatiana Bergimas-Delova's books at the moment because the Nice Little Town 6 book, which I have, I don't like that paper so much. But then, you know, you take Christine Karen's Amazon books, and they're printed on Amazon paper. And that's actually really nice paper. I do like that paper. I can use just about anything on it, and it's fine. So I just don't fully get what's going on in the Amazon paper world. I know Coloring Heaven changed their paper to make because of costs, and they wanted to keep it more affordable. And I think Creative Haven also changed their paper a year or so ago. So I don't know what's going on with it. Okay, turns here, you're going to be using polychromos or prismas. So with the hair, how real and the fur, how realistic do you want to go on it? Because remember, Jasmine Beckett Griffith's coloring books are not they're not as realistic coloring as other portraits are. So you can very easily get away with not doing a lot of flicking hair. You could do more of like a gradient and it will still work. And the same for her animals. Well, exactly. Photocopying and putting it onto better quality paper is always an option. I really do like Tatiana Bergimas-Delova's work. It's really, really lovely. Well, fair enough, Kenny. Stopping buying expensive books. I mean, totally fair enough. Just getting tired of paying for it. I mean, that's why I didn't get Clara Markova's latest coloring book. Is the cost of the shipping just makes those books so exorbitant. And yeah, it's hard when you, well, I don't want to spend that much money on a book when I'm still busy working on all her other books. Okay, so if you're going for a whimsical look, you could just do a gradient. So if you refer to Jasmine Beckett Griffith's original paintings, you'll actually see she doesn't do individual hair strands, she just does more of a gradient. So you could refer to her for lighting ideas. Otherwise, just do a gradient. And then the same with the fur. I'll actually get my book in a minute for you, and I'll give you a bit of a, show you what I've done. So I don't like the dark band across the nose. It just doesn't work for me, so I changed that up. Changed it up a bit, and then I'm playing around with the skin tone. Let me get the book for you. Alright, I'm just going to zoom you out a wee bit. Okay, let's make sure it's centered. So, there's the page I did. Now, I didn't do individual strands. What I did is I knew this section here would be darker, so I made it darker. I did do some strands, and I did this bit here darker, and I tried to make sure I had my white highlight gradients, and then the same in the red. I didn't put that gray shadow across the nose. I tried to just build it up with layers and just frame it a little bit. And then I just did regular skin. And then for the birds, I didn't even bother with individual feathers. I tried to just do gradients there. So I really focus more on her pictures, where is she putting shadows and highlights. And then I changed the color scheme. I find Prismacolors work really well and the paper responds quickly, so it is quite a quick coloring process. Then here I'm working on this one, so you can see how I'm building up the layers. Here I've done like a base on the raccoon, and even here on the deer, I'm just building up more the shadows. So I do a little bit of fur texture, but not too heavy. And then the same will be here. So I'm already trying to place my highlights, and then I'll just go over like that. And then if I give you a sneak peek over here, again, shadows, and I just create gradients on the hair. And then here for the cat's fur, I had to be really careful to make sure that I put a highlight just to separate, so you could actually see the paw from the rest of the face, and put a bit of a highlight here and here. But I don't do the realism per se. I'm just going in and doing a gradient. So hopefully that will be of help to you. All right, let's zoom you back in and carry on with this background. Oh, thanks, Kenny. Yeah, I feel for these illustrators. They can only do so much when they want to be self-published, which helps them get more money for their work, I suppose, than going through a publishing company. Although, to be fair, R.J. Hampson has started releasing hard-covered books with better paper. Now, I haven't tried the books out yet, but I have got one of his hardcover books to try. And from what I've seen on other YouTube channels, the paper is holding up quite well with all sorts of medium. I suppose the real problem is to get better paper means more expensive. So it's always a tricky balance, I suppose. As far as I knew, Amazon does state the exact weight of the paper, because I remember looking in on Christine Karen's books. When I was buying them, I wanted to make sure I knew the weight of the paper and everything. So not all of the books actually give you the weight or have it included in the description. And then if you're a publisher and you're going to, not a publisher, if you're an illustrator and you're setting up all the stuff for your book, you really only have one or two options. And 90, I think it's 90 GSM, and then you can have it printed on either in color or in black, because I did look into it. I don't know if it's changed since I last looked. Sometimes in the description of the book you can find the paper, but not all people include it. Thanks, Kitty. It is the NeoColor II Prussian Blue, and then I'm using a light blue. Okay, so the quality paper is 88 to 105 GSM. Thanks for that, Pickle. Hi, Carly, how are you? I'm sorry YouTube is not notifying you. This is the most coloring I have done since last time, since our last live stream. Life is rather busy. Oh, thank you, Tionetta, Tia. I'm really glad I could be of help. Hopefully you will find that it's not as overwhelming once you get started. I think it's just about finding out how to color it in your way. But yeah, I just follow Jasmine Beckett Griffith's original coloring pages. And then obviously the way I interpret the colors will make it original in its own right. But it's fun. Streaming doesn't even keep you coloring. Yeah, absolutely. Starting is often the hardest. And then there's always that portion of the coloring page where you've colored some and you haven't finished it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, is it going to actually work? Is it going to turn out? And then you have to just push through that. And at the end, it looks okay. Or you learn something. Like I am learning here that NeoColor IIs do work on this paper, but they're not brilliant. So I still don't personally think the paper in Rita Berman's books work very well with water-based mediums. I think they're just more pencil. But never mind, we'll make it work. Oh, there goes my phone again. Now the only thing I don't know is this portion underground or is it sky? Wise words. It either works out or you learn how not to. Very true. Oh, sorry. You almost dropped your phone. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I love that, Yana, that after 12 years of coloring, you have yet to run out of steam. It's what keeps the creative part of you alive and well. I love that. And I hope that coloring does that for a lot more people. Oh, there you go again. See, so I have my messengers, WhatsApp and all of that on here, on my laptop and on my phone. So my laptop dings and my phone buzzes. Oh, absolutely. Creative outlet and therapy. Totally therapy. Oh, exactly, Pickle. I so relate to that. It's what helps you the most, but is always the first thing to go or slow down when things get busy or hard. It's exactly what I'm having. And then I find I get more stressed and frustrated because I really want to color, and then I either forget to make the time or I don't have the time. Oh, cool, Leslie. What other hobby are you sitting down to do? So many people are culling their creative room. I'm busy adding to mine. Oh, cross-stitching in a video game. That's cool. My mom tried teaching me cross-stitch. I did okay with it. But it just wasn't my thing. I got bored. She even tried to teach me embroidery. It took me about 18 months to finish a coffee table cloth. She and my gran. embroidery, cross stitch, quilting. They do quilting now. Well, they have been. My gran had a severe stroke on the weekend, so she's in hospital and we're not yet sure exactly the outcome. I mean, we know some of the outcome, but we don't know how long it's going to last or anything like that. So, but up until the weekend, my mom and my gran quilted together, and they've done all sorts. Oh, you used to stitch and crochet. That's cool. Oh, that's lovely, Pickle, that the minis went to a parrot show today. 10 euros for a photo. Wow. Wow. Oh, well done. We're off to London tomorrow. We're going to go watch the Future Makers with a group of friends at the Royal Albert Hall. So all these young adults, late teens or so, young adults, and their inspired creativity in the music. And some of them, they play unusual instruments or sing really unique and beautiful songs. We might pop into some of the museums beforehand. Oh, thanks, Pickle. They're in Cyprus. Wow, how cool. They must be having a grand time. So I want this bit here to dry out a bit before I try and blend it out a bit more. Oh, lovely. I'm so glad that your minis are having a good time. I think that was just part of the acorn. Oh dear. Okay, never mind. Okay, we can't undo that. All right, never mind. I just made a mistake. I'm afraid you all are going to be watching me paint a background for 2 hours. it's so lovely that they'll have actual memories of their time. It's really special. How long are they gone for? Oh wow, 11 days. Oh, they'll be back on next Monday. That's lovely. Maybe I can use a really bright green gel pen and just put the stem of the acorn back in. Well, we're almost done the one page. Maybe I'll just do this page today. And then I can do the other side on another day. And then I can pretend I've done 2 complete pages. And not just one, and a whole lot of whips. Oh, thanks, Kenny. Yeah, it's coming along okay. I think the blue works well with the browns and the greens. Probably better choice than a dark green. Yeah, brown and blue are great. I always think of interior decorating. Brown and blue works in a lounge or a den or something where it's just relaxed. It's just very relaxing colors. Maybe if we use like white gel pen and put in some stars, it will. Yeah, I think the green does pop. I mean, it makes sense really, because blue and orange, and a lot of these colors are orange, they're opposite on the color wheel, so they complement each other. The chipmunks are cuties. Yeah. Yeah, they came out all right. Oh yeah, earth tones are great. It's just warm and inviting and safe and cozy. Oh, thanks, Kenny. I think it is going to turn out okay in the end. We just need to get there. Double page spreads always take a while, don't they? But it is nice to do double page spreads. They're fabulous. You want to feed them nuts. Yeah, I don't mind them having the nuts as long as they don't plant them in my garden. Although I do laugh at my boys because they want to play outdoors and then they're walking on the fallen acorns, and I'll say to them, just take the rake and rake it up, and they, nope, no thanks. So they'll happily, well, not happily, they'll grumpily walk on acorns because they don't fancy taking the rake and raking them up. It just cracks me up. Yeah, you see, that looks a bit more manageable now. There's less white on the page. So that's my other trick. If I want to feel less overwhelmed or a bit more accomplished in my coloring, and I know more or less what I want to do with my background, I'll try and go in and do some of the background so that I can convince myself I've made progress. I've definitely made progress. Yes, I feel more accomplished now. Well, hopefully it can be done by the end of October, and then we'll have to pick another page to color in. Maybe a Kanoke Gusa book or an Erie book. Or a Kirby book. NeoColors are great. I really like them. I don't use them half as much as I should. I was actually looking to see if I could pick up a couple more of the individual ones. But then the postage price changed, so I need to, it went from like just over £2 to about £6. So I need to work out at what point the postage drops back down to the 2 and then work out which is more cost effective. Because I don't really need the full set of Neo2s, but I wouldn't mind getting myself a bit more greens. I need some more greens, maybe some more browns. Well, there's a few, but it's almost more in that autumnal stage. And then I'm hoping I'll have more to kind of create those gradients, whereas the blue is really the only colors I feel I can confidently create gradients with. Oh wow, you've been using oil pastels on backgrounds. How do you do that? And what do you use to protect your pages? I've only tried oil pastels in a background once, and I've had to use a whole, like 2 of these wax paper pages to protect both sides of the page. I'd love to learn how you use oil pastels. They are not my favorite medium, but I do have. I can buy NeoColor IIs open stock. There's a shop, it's called the Colored Pencil Shop. I'll get it for you in a sec. And you can buy the NeoColor IIs from there. Oopsie daisy. If you look under their pastel shop, you'll see they've got NeoColor IIs. And I'm very impressed with the way they package them. Oh wow, I didn't know you could put pencil over oil pastels when they're dry. Oh wow. So what blending brush do you use? Is it a specific one or type? I've seen people use watercolor, NeoColor, Inkten, squash, soft pastels. I hardly ever see people using oil pastels, so I'm so intrigued. Oh, cool. You're just blending brushes from Amazon. That's cool. Oh, wow. So you say prismas over them. Wow, that's so cool. This is why I love the coloring community. We can just learn from each other. Oh, wow, okay. I'll have a look and see what I can find. So I'll go look at Shannon's video. I need something new to watch on YouTube anyway. I roll into bed at night because I'm tired, and I know that reading a book would probably be a good idea, but my brain is just tired from the busyness. So I go onto YouTube and I look for coloring videos, but I'm starting to run out of coloring videos to watch. So I'll go snoop on Shannon's website, on Shannon's channel, and see what I can find and look for her oil pastel work. Do you guys use any glossy accents or Mod Podge? And if so, do you enjoy it? Do you find it works well? with your pages. Oh, sorry, I'm getting my head in the way again. So sorry. I do it often. I lean forward so I can see better. Even though I've got my contacts in, I've always had this habit of leaning forward. Oh wow, okay, Edgar Allan Poe. Is it in the... Oh wait, hang on. Let me see if I can find it. Because I saw someone on YouTube was coloring in... like... Oh, okay, coloring in Beauty of Horror 5. Is that the one? You've used stickles and glossy accents. Leslie, you do the same. Glad to know I'm not alone. I've been doing it since I was little. I think it's because I'm short-sighted. So when I don't have my contacts or my glasses on, I can't see anything really. I have to actually bring a book or my phone or whatever I'm doing close to my face so I can actually see what's going on. I mean, the brain is a wonderful thing. It fills in details very quickly. So certain things I can do, and I'm not bothered by how blurry things are. But if I'm doing something like this or writing, I actually lean closer and closer. And I think it's just instinctive habit, really. Oh, okay, so that is the right page. But she has a lot of oil pastel videos on live streams. Okay, that's cool. I'll go see which of her other live streams have oil pastels. I'll be honest, the title of a book being anything on horror is I really struggled to give those sort of books a chance. So I mean, like Coloring with Elena, she does some. She's got one or two of those dark books. Like what I think one is a horror book, and I know her artwork will be beautiful, but even then, there are times where I struggle to watch it. So it's just a me issue, really. It's not anyone else's issue. It's just my quirks. But I'll give it a try and see how I take to it. Otherwise, I'll look for other videos. I think I'm going to bring the blue, the dark blue, a bit further up. So I'll do this light blue, but I'm going to bring this darker blue up. It's just a little too much. It's a bit too light. Yeah, me either, Kenny. I'm not into it either. Oh wow, you want to buy new watercolors? I don't know Rosa Gallery. I've heard White Nights are good. I like the Ming Lang watercolors, but I really don't know. Great. I think there's Paul Rubin also sells watercolor. I suppose it depends how expensive you want to go. What's your budget like? Oopsie, I'm picking up pencil there. Hi, Screaming Mimi. How are you? Great to have you. Thanks for joining. And I'm glad you really enjoyed the video. Oh, okay, Leslie. Rosa are made in Ukraine. I didn't know that. How did you find out about them? Alright, so we're just gonna build this up a wee bit more. It's just feeling a bit too, it's like it's too much light. Can you not get like sample swatches? Because I've seen like on Etsy, some places or some sellers of for watercolors actually provide like samples. Maybe that's a good way to test new watercolors. Hi Brittany, how are you? I am coloring with Blackwater pencils and I'm doing the background with NeoColor IIs. Oh, okay, you bought Imuki. I haven't heard of that brand. I can show you a brand of sparkly watercolor paints I found on Amazon. Bearing in mind I'm using Amazon UK, but I got these watercolor paints as a gift for a friend's teenage daughter who's quite into art, and especially watercolor. Bear with me while I quickly find it. Ah, here we go. They're the CSY ones. Just trying to see. Yeah, like Yana says, CSY, they make really beautiful colors. I'll just share this one for you, with you. And then on Etsy, you can also find some really lovely watercolor paints there, and sometimes they have samples. And I think a lot of them are handmade as well. I think if you look on Coloring F, on her website, not website, her YouTube channel, she uses, here's an Etsy one for you. This will work. No, it won't work. Okay, I can't share it with you. If you look on Etsy under, hang on, where is the person? There's quite a few. Try Renaissance colors. They look quite nice. Or Handmade Dorset. Exactly, Yana. Most of the really good ones are expensive. Yeah, I don't play around with a lot of these watercolor paints, so I can't really tell you. I do know some of them on Etsy do provide samples, so if you try Handmade Dorset, you also get like MAB watercolors. They provide the dots. Have a look at these. They might be a bit helpful. Otherwise, you could always, if you on Facebook, maybe ask in the Facebook groups and see what people say. I have heard though that the White Knights are good. And I think Renaissance also pretty good. Okay, so this page is looking nice. I like it. But I'm getting bored now of my NeoColor IIs, so I'm going to go back onto pencils. So I need the Monarch Oyster and the dungeon, the dragon dungeon. So you have to turn it around so you can read. And I need the Huntsman. Who at the moment is, there he is, he's not so elusive. Right, so those are kind of what I'm doing for the tree. Well, I suppose if you don't want to support Russia, the way I look, yeah, different people, different viewpoints. When it comes to artists and their work, regardless of which country they're from. They're not the ones causing the war. That is war is a politician's game. So yeah, if I needed new watercolor paints and I wanted to buy White Knights, I would buy White Knights. But that's just me, just personal opinion. So I'm just going to focus on this page for a wee bit more, and then we'll see what next week brings. Yeah, I am self-taught. A lot that I have learned, I've learned through self-teaching. So it's still a work in progress. But thank you. I'm glad you like it. I like vibrant colors. Oh, thanks, Kenny. Oh dear, did I spell it wrong? Hang on. I can't share the link because it's too long. Let's see. It's literally 58 characters too long. I'm trying to figure out how I can share this with you. Oh dear. Okay, hang on. See if I can share the shop. Yeah, that looks a bit better. There you go. Thanks, Kenny. Just had to figure it out. Nice to meet you too, Mimi, and thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Have a good week. Oh, okay. Sorry about that, Leslie. Oh, Kenny, I'm sure if you want to follow along, I have been, everything I've done, I've pretty much been doing on the live stream. So I do have them under my Rita Berman playlist. And then I'm just using Black Widow pencils, which I list in the description when I'm done. Oh no, Collie, why did that YouTube take you back to the beginning of the live? That's so weird. So this here is Oyster. So I use Oyster on the tree for the highlights. And then Huntsman is my shadow color. It's the Black Widow BW 117. I will make sure I put all these pencils and the NeoColor IIs I used in the description. And then here for the midtone I use Dungeon. Oh, it's so weird. That's very frustrating, Kenny. I'm so sorry to hear that. I wonder if there's something going on with the algorithm. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. So this is Dungeon. And then Oyster. Alright, so then Huntsman again here. And then I'm using Dungeon. Oyster. Oh, thank you, Kenny. Thank you. It does look vibrant, and I'm really glad I've been able to push these pencils to create some vibrant colors. Although I must say the blending with the monarchs, I haven't got the hang of yet. It's still a work in progress. So I'm just alternating between Huntsman and Dungeon, and then for the highlight, just the oyster. So like here, because I used the Dungeon to try and blend out the oyster and the Huntsman. Nope. So I'm using the Huntsman to try and get into these gaps here. And then here I will use my Dungeon. I just love these Black Widow names. It just cracks me up. Huntsman here. Hopefully, because I've done the background, I'll be a bit more motivated to prioritize this page and get a bit more of the leaves done. Exactly, it would be so difficult to come up with so many different names. And then oyster just helps me blend. Yeah, I do like the Black Widows. Although I must say, between Black Widows and my set of Castle Arts, I don't know which one is better, to be honest. Has anybody tried the color pencils? Dungeon. And then Oyster. Ooh, you're expecting some graphitins. Now there's something I haven't played with in a while. I hope you really enjoy them. Oh, okay, so you like them. Oh, you like the colors. That's really cool. And Kali, you're looking into brute funers. From what I've heard, the brute funers are really nice. And if they're anything to go by compared to the round brute funers, they're not a bad pencil. I just don't like the round brute funers because they're not labeled very nicely. Oh, cool, Kenny, you love the colors. They have a really big range. I think I saw somewhere that they're up at over 500 pencils now. I don't know what I would do with that many pencils in one set. Hi Megan, how are you? You've been using Black Widows. Oh cool, thank you postcards for staff, co-workers and supervisors. That's really cool. I'm glad you like them. They do have a good feel for them. We need the Huntsman here. Oh, okay, so the round brutes are the same as the Color 180 red tin. That's interesting. Oh, you got two cats. That's so cool. I hope your dinner is nice, Megan. And I hope your kitty cats are enjoying their dinner. Oh, there you go, Leslie. 520, rather spend the money on light, faster watercolors. Yeah, I'd rather save up and buy luminance or light fast. That's just because I've heard they're really good pencils. But then I'm not sure. You know, I've got quite a few sets of pencils as it is, so a part of me is a bit reluctant to buy more. But you know, it's one of those things, before long I'll be buying more pencils anyway. Oh cool, Liana, you have colors and you enjoy them. Do you find the colors quite versatile in the range of coloring books you have, or are they a bit more for certain pages or certain types of coloring books? You just can't even imagine a 520 set. My brain would explode. Yeah, me too. I think I would feel just too overwhelmed, and I'd pack the pencils away and probably go out my room, do something else, or put them back on the shelf, take out my Prismas or my Polys and do that. So this is the dungeon. I do like the way the dungeon blends with the oyster. I think it looks great. It looks cool. I'm just finishing this tree and then I will love and leave you all. I'm just finishing this section down here. So this is Huntsman here. And then the dungeon here. And the oyster. It's a pleasure, Kenny. No worries. Have a good week and we'll see you next week. Take care. I always find coloring the edges of paper tricky because it catches, so I try and just flick it off the page. and then a little bit of Black Widow, which is basically black. Just deepen up shadows. Okay, that's cool, Yana. You use Lumis and Lightfast in your best books, and you use the colors in the books you color in. That's really cool. It's good to know. At least that way, when it comes to coloring, it's like, okay, well, if I feel like a specific book, I know which pencils work. Like, I find Prismas are really versatile. I can use them in a large majority of my books. Whereas I find Polys aren't, they're a bit more picky with my coloring books than my Prismas. And the Castle Arts I find also quite picky. Oh wow, you've got Holbeins, that's cool. Right, I'm going to zoom this out and you can have a look. There we go. So that's how it looks for now. And I think it's color combination of the background works really, really lovely. And if I put a few white gel pen dots, it should work quite nicely there as well. Thank you so much everyone for joining me for this color along. I really, really do appreciate it. Yeah, no, absolutely. Polys and Prismas are a go-to for a lot of books, and I think that's what I really like about them. I feel like I'm getting good value for my money. Thank you everyone. Thanks for the chat. I appreciate you all, and I will see you on Monday for another live stream, and hopefully we can do a bit more on this page. Take care everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye.